Common custody mistakes during a divorce. Speaking negatively about the other parent. That is a huge red flag. It shows immaturity and also just irresponsibility. Your kids are not equipped with emotions that can handle a divorce. Half the adults I meet aren't equipped with the emotional capacity to handle a divorce. It is hard. And so to put this pressure on the children to choose sides or something like that is just so inappropriate, and it really upsets the judges. And so while you and your spouse may have an age-appropriate conversation about, hey, our family, is going to change a little bit. It's going to look a little different. We're not going to be living together. You're going to have 2 rooms. You could kind of try to make it, a positive for the children. That's going to be much better than bad-mouthing the other parent, saying, oh my gosh, this is why we're divorcing, and this is what she did, or this is what he did. That's inappropriate, because at the end of the day, kids want to love each of you. They find at a young age their value from their parents. And so when you're putting down that other parent, you're putting down someone that child really looks up to and cares about and loves and sees themselves in. So you're putting down your child when you're doing that. When you're going through a custody battle, I recommend that you document everything. You should have a calendar. I went to soccer practice. He wasn't there. I went to the game. She wasn't there. I went to this doctor's appointment. They weren't there. So all of that stuff is stuff that I would document. Here's a picture. We're doing a, science project together. The other side's nowhere to be found, right? We're on a field trip. Nowhere to be found the other side. And so these are all things that I would definitely document whenever I'm going through it, just to show I am the parent that's been present. And hopefully you can go back to pre-divorce, because a lot of people, all of a sudden, it's Johnny come lately. Now you want to be all involved because we're going through the divorce. Well, for the past 2 years, we haven't seen you. And so I think that the history is going to come in as well. And so you'll be able to prove that with a text message. Hey, I'm taking Sally to the doctor. And, the other side saying, oh, can't be there. And so you'll be able to show that you've been the parent that has been involved. So that's the kind of evidence that I would keep. So calendars, text message evidence, pictures showing your involvement. That's all good stuff. If you're missing visitation too often, it will indicate to the court what your priorities are. And it's not necessarily visiting with your child. And you should be making those visitations, especially if you're ever going to ask for more time. You're not even taking the time that the court has granted you. So why would you ever be entitled to more time? And I should be able to rely on these visitations happening, and the child should be able to rely on that. They're going to get to see you. They're excited. And if you don't show up, it's just disappointing. And so all of a sudden the court's in this situation where I don't want to keep disappointing this child. So I'm going to decrease your visitation to what you're actually exercising. It will allow the other parent who is there all the time to make plans. Like if I want to do a vacation, a 2-week vacation somewhere, and I can't plan it because, your visit's in the middle of it. I know you're probably not going to exercise it based on the history of you not exercising it, but the court order says that you can. So now I can't even make plans with the child to do something fun because there's this visitation that you won't even exercise. If someone is missing a lot of visitations, I'm going to do a SAPSR modification. And again, SAPSR stands for Suit Affecting the Parent-Child Relationship. I'm going to ask for a modification so that the order reflects what it is that we are actually doing. And I'm going to ask for it to be modified to decrease your visitation because you're not exercising what the court gave you. And I want the visitation schedule to be accurate with what it is you're actually going to do, so I can depend on that schedule. Communicating with your co-parent can often be tricky. If text messages aren't going well because maybe someone isn't very mature and they're saying inappropriate things in text message and they're attacking you instead of talking about where the exchange is going to occur. Courts will order that all of your communications go through an app like App Close or Our Family Wizard. And, in those instances, the court can actually look at how your communications are. They can order that you turn on what's called the tone meter and see, okay, is this appropriate? Are you speaking in a way that you should be speaking to another adult in a respectful manner, especially your co-parent? And so the court can require that you communicate through Our Family Wizard. I would love it if parents could talk and be mature, but that's just not always the case. And so then it will go to everything has to be in writing, and then everything has to be in writing through a court-approved app. So there are levels, and where do you want to be? This person is still your family. You loved this person at one time. You made a child with them. And so, hopefully you're able to communicate. Now, just because you're communicating verbally doesn't mean that you can't still have evidence of it. You can record those communications in texts, and so maybe you're communicating, but it is recorded. These are common custody mistakes that parents make during a divorce. If you have any questions, give us a call.